C2 is a rank 4 assault pilot. We haven't gotten one of those in a while. I think since Gino, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, her first ability is called World Famous Pizza Power, of course, because C2 is eating pizza, and pizza is one of the core elements of C2. Anyways, she increases your cost by 6, attack power by 3 enemies, and attacks 3 enemies in range by 3.75 times your attack power every third time damage is received. All this is saying is that if C2 is attacked 3 times, she'll deal her attack power times a multiplier of 3.75 times to 3 enemies in range. That's all it's saying, while increasing your cost. Anyways, she has a power up or pilot power up, and she lowers the deployment cost of every MC on your team by 6 and increases action speed by 1.45 times. So it's not Lelouch or other protagonists, it's literally the MC, which is pretty good. So what I really like about this C2 is that her stats are fantastic. High health, high defense, and high short range attack power. Those are all really good because you can use her in the Gwen. And of course, if you haven't noticed, all C2s tend to have really high defense and health because they all have to combo with the melee weapon of the Gwen. They don't all have to, but they all seem to. The only problem with this C2 is that she has a usability issue. Her effect, while very powerful, is limited by the map, specifically how many enemies are on the map. So if there's a lot of them, let's say it's a harder mission or one of the challenge missions, then yeah, she's really good. You'll gain cost very quickly and she'll deal lots of damage. If it's one of the easier missions, this is more of a win more, possibly a hindrance actually, because she does cost a little bit if you put her in the Gwen or something like that, and you may never regain that cost again because there's not enough enemies to attack her. So in missions where lots of enemies, really good. Missions where there's not a lot of enemies, kind of a win more, unnecessary. The other thing about this C2 is that she boosts the MC. Currently, there's only one in the game. We will get, I believe, 3 more, but that's not for a long time. So if you're a patient person, you could get the C2 and wait on for the other MCs to come out. Because I will say she combos really well with those MC units, but that's not for a while now. So this C2 is going to be one of those characters where she's good now, but she'll be even better later on, especially also when you consider the first year boost. The only thing to consider when deciding to summon this character right now is the fact that we are getting Zaku, the Knight of Seven, aka Angry Zaku, in the next banner, and that's one of the best characters in the game. So if you're gonna go for this C2, just keep in mind there's something really good coming up next. So that's my thoughts about C2. Really good character, but bad timing, unfortunately. Now let's talk about the free Nightmare Frame you can get in this event. The Guren MK-2 without the Radiant Wave Surger arm and instead has the Sarlin arm. Okay, here is the Guren MK-2. Like I said, it only has the Sarlin arm, not the Radiant Wave Surger arm. So it costs 6. It's got 220 defense, 1 block, 220 attack power, only attacks a single enemy unit. The special attacks 3 enemies within range at 3.75 times your attack power and inflicts AK damage on top of that. This Guren is really good, especially if you don't have the original one. If you guys remember on that video many months back, I said we are going to get a free Guren, so don't feel bad if you don't get it here. Well, this is the free Guren that I was talking about. What's great about this Guren is that it also will boost any column pilot to level 5, so if you don't have the Guren MK-2, this is the next best thing. Now, sure, its abilities and stats are weaker than the Guren MK-2. In some cases, that's pretty good because maybe you want to have a lower cost Nightmare Frame, so you could use this one, or maybe you don't have the Guren MK-2, so you need something that can do fixed damage to multiple enemies and boost column level 5, and in that case, this is the best Nightmare Frame for you. For example, one of my accounts, I don't have the Guren MK-2, so I'm going to have to use this one until I get the actual Guren MK-2. Until then, I've been using the Gekka and also the Suigetsu. So that's what I really like about this thing. It's not the best Nightmare Frame ever, but it deals fixed damage, it's got low cost, and relatively good stats. Right now in the current meta, most melee Nightmare Frames don't have the highest base damage, so the fact that this thing is kind of low comparatively is not the worst. Later on though, yeah, it could be a problem. And the only real con about this, at least from my perspective on my accounts, is that if I do have many Guren MK-2s that are leveled up, there's really no need to use this Nightmare Frame. Now, I will probably still use it on that account because this thing is easier to upgrade than my other Guren MK-2s, because obviously you're using the Nightmare Frame upgrade materials that you're getting from this event. But once I have a pretty good established team, I don't know if I'm ever going to use the Guren again. The difference between this and the Lancelot we got last time is that Lancelot's range is really good and still one of the best in the game to this date. So even though there are other good range Nightmare frames, not many can compete with its range, or long range, sorry, you know what I'm talking about. That's what makes that one better than say this Guren. It has more usability. This Guren by comparison is just a melee Nightmare frame on the ground that deals fixed damage. Something we'll get way more of down the road. But for right now, it's pretty good. Definitely worth your time investing into the Nightmare frame boss battle event to go for this Nightmare frame. So that's my thoughts on these two units. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want more content, here's some helpful videos that beginners might find useful. Go check them out right now.